Want it? Bye-bye. Is everyone ready, guys? Yeah? Sorry for the wait. Yeah. Do you want to say anything?
Hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. It's I'm not normally used to this, but this lovely man Shane and Mikey here have come all the way down to Margate to collect me and to bring me all the way back here. And I think that's so kind of them both to do all this, and it's lovely Stacey to make the cakes and all of you to come along. Thank you so much for that. You know, giving up your time to be here makes us happy. So I hope you enjoy your evening, and thank you Chris Riley for coming down, special man. You know, he does wonderful readings. Alright, so I hope that you'll join me in prayer. And I just wanted to mention before I start, my partner makes beautiful angel plaques which are on my page, and he makes them as memorials for people and that. He hand paints them all, so if you like one for your memory of your loved ones, and then he can do that for you, I'm sure. Alright? So will you join me in prayer, and then we will have the music going on, ready for me to go into the trance state. Don't forget, you know, you can ask my guide questions. I'm sure somebody will be able to take the questions there, but make sure you speak up, or I'll give you the microphone to speak into.
Mikey's going to come around the mic.
Okay, you ready, everyone? I just want you to sit here and think positive thoughts. Put love and light into your mind, and keep that positive thought within you. Be open-minded and accept what you will. Can I say one more thing before I start?
Yeah. Is it great?
Right, come in. If you're going to go, if you've all got your phones off or on silent, please. And if you have to leave in an emergency, just leave quietly as you possibly can, or if you need the toilet, just try and go out there quietly, okay? Father, we ask that you bring our spirit guide and our loved ones in amongst us this evening. May our loved ones join us. And we ask you bring everything in love, light, truth, happiness and harmony, and that the messages will be profound, abundant and correct, and that you will place the utmost of healing, love and the greatest of protection over each one of us in here. May this please continue with us as we go now and through our daily lives. And now we leave ourselves in your hands, praying you will protect this building and protect all of us with the highest angels possible and your love, Father. May we go into this only in the light. Amen. Amen.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. It is lovely to meet you all, and thank you all for coming to see Elaine and I. And we would like to thank these lovely gentlemen for setting everything up.
Our pleasure, Cwmbran.
Yes, I knew that Elaine would meet you.
You did, sir.
I did say that you would meet, and here we are with this gentleman that I said would come back into your life.
Yeah, Mikey.
It's going to be something very special happening here.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. So, I invite questions. And of course, you know that I am Jonathan. And I would like you to know that those of you that have not experienced this before, you do not enter into it lightly. It is something that takes time to develop and to come forward. And you have to have faith, dedication, and of course, trust. That is the main thing, isn't it? Because you are entering into something that is a little bit deeper. And you are entering into something that is opening your energies and allowing other people to experience something beautiful with a spirit connection. So we are gathering you all here for a very important time. Your world is in a state, but it is still functioning with love amongst it. Of course, wonderful people are coming together. But we want to do a little bit more of that. We want to rebalance your world. We want to bring the light back into it and rebalance it. And of course, there is so much going on at the present time. What with your global warming, as you call it, and the earth really is crying. She is crying. And she wants you to help her. But she loves you dearly. And she wants to give you her beauty. She gives you her crystals. She gives you her beauty, the trees, the waters of the earth. But we are noticing that is starting to dissipate a little. And it is very noticeable, as if the dust under the carpet has started to show. So it is our time to come to your world and to let you know that we are really starting to connect with your world. I would say that the ethereal veil is now thinning, and you are gaining greater communication with us on the other side, and your loved ones are sending you signs and synchronicities, and the fact that we are here on the other side and that there is a heaven that you go to after this. Yes, there is, almost certainly. But not even with an almost, it is a certainty that you need to have no fear of passing to the other side. It is a beautiful place, the light, the unconditional love. There is nothing else like it. But then you will take the decision to come back from the other side and live in a physical being. And living in that body is something that you plan to do. It is something that you want to do to be able to feel unconditional love or gain experience of that in a human existence. And it is not undertaken lightly, I will tell you. No, it isn't. It is something that the soul decides to do, and it will plan every single last detail of its life. Who your parents are going to be. You would have known them in other lifetimes. And maybe you will come back with other lifetime traumas that are attached to you that you wish to overcome in each lifetime. And once you have overcome that fear, you become even stronger and even more able to enter into the higher realms of spirit when you return home again. So this is just a temporary place. This is not home. This is, you will see your home as home. You will go home tonight and then you sit on your armchairs and drink your tea, but this is just a place to come to learn in. You have a beautiful lit up soul inside that being of yours, and it is up to you what you want to do with the gifts that you have. Each and every one of you in here are unique and special, wonderful, under God's eyes. But God is just a name. When I was stood in front of that beauty, when I passed to the spirit world, well, that was something else. I knelt before that and was shown everything that I ever did wrong, everything that I ever did right. And I was laid bare to see everything that I'd done. And sometimes you look at the negativities that you have gone through, but they are not going to be punishable. It is all part of the greater learning, all part of the soul's evolvement, which will take place eventually. You work your way through the elements, and not the levels of spirit, but the realms of spirit. I prefer to call it the realms, yes, because nobody in heaven is seen greater or lesser than another. You may get a famous person join the spirit world. He's still, well, you get to the back of the queue, you're just the same as us. But they are seen as beautiful, much like anybody else. We are one and the same. We just live our lives differently. And we learn things at a different pace. We approach love differently. But it is all flocking to the word love, isn't it? Love. It's what you're all about. You were made from love. You go back to love. So you are a being of beauty that is lit up like a beacon inside of you. All of that body, what it is doing is just a casing for your soul to reside on the earth in. When that is cast off and dissipated, your soul is then freed into the light again, like a beautiful butterfly. So now I invite you to be questionable if you so wish. I'm sure that you are curious.
You've got to turn it on. Karen?
Hello, Jonathan. And hello, Karen. I just heard Karen as well. My name is Linda. I'd just like to ask you a question. What advice could you give anybody that's suffering from an addiction of some sort, please?
Well, I would say that to receive help, to talk to somebody about it. But sometimes people will find it hard to be open about their emotions, and they would feel shameful about that. But what is there to be ashamed of? Because there's nothing to be ashamed of. Emotion, again, emotion is a natural process, much like grieving. But I would say that addictions usually can stem from certain insecurities that have happened in younger life, you see. And instead of facing it, they will turn to something to mask it. Instead of facing the emotion and allowing it to be let go, they will find something to suppress it. And so they turn to something that will give them comfort. But it will only ever give them temporary comfort, unless they get to the root of the problem and have it healed and released. Then it is going to continue. They may fight the addiction short term, or they may actually overcome it and come to the realization that they do not need that anymore. But I do see a lot of them returning to the addiction as soon as they get a traumatized situation coming up in their lives. They will return to it. So it is better to go within and heal within, rather than mask it with alcohol, drugs, cigarette, whatever you're doing. Face your fears and overcome them. That is the best way to do it. Yes.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Any other questions now?
Hello, Jonathan. Have you ever heard of a spiritual interfacer?
A spiritual interfacer? What would you mean by that, my dear?
Well, I'm just asking, have you ever heard of one?
Not myself.
I come across it in books and on people, and I just wondered if you could...
there are many names that these spiritual things are given, but spirituality is so pure. You may give it many names, but it is only under one great love. It is all approached in different ways. Healing, mediumship, whatever it may be, is approached in different ways. So it is probably some new name that they have given to it. That is true. I hope that answers your question, my dear.
You got a question?
Yes, thank you.
question for them as well.
Hello, Jonathan. I just wondered if you could tell us how our guides choose us.
Well, I would say you choose each other. And you would make a spiritual pact that the two of you would come together. You would have a spiritual awakening at the right time, and then you would come together and join. So you love each other. You have had past life experiences together. So that guide will know you inside out. And they will join together and arrange everything for the one to come to earth and the one to stay in spirit to work through that person.
Yes, lovely. Thank you.
Couple more questions over the mic, yeah?
Yeah. I've got two questions really. I'm coming to some decisions at the moment, and I think I have been stuck in the fear, which you touched on with the addictions. From a home perspective, I've been offered something that honestly I find I don't want to do, but it's very convenient. I wondered if there was any guidance from the other side on that one.
Well, everything that you do in this life, my dear, is your decision. And we cannot make your decisions for you or live your life for you. What we will say to you is, do what resonates with you. Follow your heart, your intuitive self, and lead it to something that you actually enjoy doing, that you want to do. There's nothing worse than getting out of bed in the morning and dreading going into your workplace. Wouldn't you rather be doing something that was special to you? Something that you wanted to get out of bed for?
See, that puts me back to my gut feeling, but unfortunately the physical is pushing me towards working against my gut feeling.
Well, that is the ego mind, my dear. And that is the earthly conditioning of the ego mind, isn't it? You have seen many people follow their dreams, haven't you? Live their dreams. And they never thought in the beginning that they could do it, or they would have a passion about it, and they would be determined. They would get to their point where they would live their dream. What would you do after you'd lived your dream?
Die happy.
Would you get bored with it? Would you want to do something else? There are many things that you could do in life, but as long as you are happy doing them, we understand that you have to earn a living in your world. And sometimes they say, well, I've got no choice but to go to work. You have to edge yourself out of something into something that you do want to do. It may take a little bit of time, self-belief and passion, but you will get there in the end, I am sure.
So it's my question then, is it my ego that doesn't want to do something that would put me on my path?
Yes, it is. Almost certainly, yes. And I'm not going to change that.
Fair enough.
Any more questions? Hello. What I'd like to ask is, you spoke earlier on about realms, and when you leave your physical body, will you go into conditions, I should imagine, that wherever your mind is? And what I would like to ask is, how do you end the cycle of rebirth of seemingly coming into a body?
I have seen many people go through many, many lifetimes before they actually come to staying in spirit. They would work themselves through many lifetimes and overcome many exhausting emotional states and learn to build one's self-confidence and overcome their fears. And eventually, when they work themselves to a height where they feel they need to no longer incarnate, they will usually come to your earth and work with other mediums. They may become spirit guides.
Does that mean then that they're beyond the body?
Would you say that again, please?
Does that mean that they are beyond the body and they sort of become enlightened and
yes, that is
ascended
right.
into
you become pure source. You become pure source of light.
So that then would be the end of rebirth.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You wanted it to be.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Jonathan. I know spirit have a different concept of time to us here on the earth plane, but I just wondered how long it took you and Elaine to blend so perfectly.
When I first started to work with her, she was a little reluctant and believed in the fact that it could be an altered ego that was coming through her. But the first experience that she had to go back to that. It took her many years to believe that I had no ulterior motive, you see, which I didn't have. And I would say the first experience that she had to go back to was when I first came through, when she felt total unconditional love through every vein in her body. Through her whole being, that unconditional love resonated with her. She'd never felt anything like it. And when you feel that kind of love, you know that it is genuine and that it is from the light. We understand that you have your doubts, because if you cannot see, you do not believe. But you cannot see the wind, but you still feel it and know that it is there, and you believe it even when you cannot see it. So why would you not believe that a spirit is there? We are like the breath of the wind, you see. That is what we are.
That's beautiful, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? A couple over here as well.
Indignious.
Is that Karen?
Hi Jonathan. Oh god, that's loads. I want to ask, how do you learn to love yourself?
Learning to love yourself. You will go through many emotional experiences before you would learn to love oneself. Learning to love oneself is going within. I would say that if you stood in front of a mirror and looked into your eyes, and you looked not just at yourself, but into your eyes, into your soul, and see all the good parts of your soul, and begin to understand that you're not such a bad person after all. You don't need to keep beating yourself up, do you? You are a beautiful being. And we are deliberately sent here to make mistakes in order for our soul to resonate with the higher realms of spirit. So look at yourself and see how beautiful you are. The light that shines from you. You are not expected to be perfected in this life. Really you are not. You work to strive to be a good person, to do what you can to help yourself and others. But to look inside yourself and go within and start to believe in yourself. If you were to look at another member of your family and look at your friends and see how beautiful they are and see how much you care for them and that you would do anything for them, why would you not be outside of yourself, look at yourself and say, well, I would do that for her too.
Thank you.
And that's my girlfriend now. I give her enough love as it is.
No, no.
Thank you, Stacey. Any more questions, please?
Hello. Hello. Evening. I've sat in Circle for many years, and we've done what is referred to generally as rescue work to earthbound spirits. Why are there so many?
I think that you will find that some of the souls that take their life, you see, they go across in such a state, and the majority of them will go into the light upon acceptance, you see, and we will come to help them. But it depends on whether or not they want to go into the light, or whether they are afraid of the light. And some of them hang around in the earthly sense. They want to be with their loved ones. They are terribly remorsed about what they have done, or they have passed in traumatic circumstances and they do not want to accept that they have passed. They sometimes need that little bit of help and encouragement for you to send them across and to believe that the light is there to rescue them. All they need to do is accept, and they will be immediately taken into the light.
I've come across a lot that have died in war conditions and they still want to carry on fighting. So why can't Spirit sort of point out that they've passed over?
The majority of them, we do come and take them to the light. But some of them, well, they have their own decision to make. They want to stay there. They cannot force them.
Okay. Thank you.
God is accepting.
Hello, Jonathan.
Hello, my dear.
I originally wanted to ask about how we can cleanse the environment, but actually I would rather know more about what we need to do to shift consciousness on this earth plane to respect climate change and address it.
Yes. It is not going to be done by a minuscule group of people. It would take thousands and thousands upon thousands of people to come together to make a difference. But sometimes you will have to start at the beginning and have one person to get it all together, and then many will stem off from that, a little bit like a spider web. He starts off with one little bit and he sews each little bit together. He spindles them together, you see? And that is how it starts off. It's like a little stone being dropped into the water, and then it ripples outwards, doesn't it? And reaches to the edges. So one drop in the ocean could make a difference. And then many, many people join that and come together and start to raise the consciousness. Look at us all here tonight. One person, Elaine, is sitting amongst you all, but you are the many that are gifted as much as she is, and you're all coming together, creating a unification of love. You've come here understanding that you want to hear something from Spirit, and you want more. You want more information. You want to know more, because you know that you are part of that. You are all part of the universe, and it is part of you. So to raise that consciousness, bring as many people as you can together to understand it and to teach them. You have your wonderful internet. Look at the possibilities now that has created here. It could do far more than that. We understand that there are negatives within it. But again, everything has a negative to get to a positive. But there is much more positive than the negative. You see, that outweighs it. And we want to outweigh it even more. We want to spread this beautiful word of the truth, the spirit, the light. Not all this fear-based control. We do not want that. That is not love. But it is all learning, really, isn't it, to get to the truth.
Yeah. Any more questions, please? Something like the Karen, I think.
Good evening, Jonathan.
Hello.
I have a granddaughter who's 9, very, very gifted. So she could string a sentence together. She talks to Spirit. But at school is another situation where she's very destructive.
Oh.
Can you give me some guidance, please? She's very academically high achiever, but where the spirit world is part of her life, she gets into so much trouble.
Yes. I think that again, she is surrounded by different egos, isn't she? Influential. She is a very determined girl, but she becomes frustrated somehow because she doesn't know what she wants from life, you see. She sees all of these other children around her and she cannot understand why she has to be there. She's an old soul, you see. And some of them get very frustrated because they cannot simply understand why the others don't resonate with them. She will change. You will see that girl change. As she starts to mature, she will start to calm down a little. But it may take a little bit of time. But I will say to you, I will give you a little tip. If you speak to a child when they are asleep, just gently and quietly, their higher self will listen to you. And you will see a difference.
Thank you very much.
It works.
We're going to try that, Stacey, aren't we?
Happy birthday to you. Hello, Jonathan. My name's Gaynor. A very sort of personal question. I've got close family on the other side, and obviously things happen in life and events and so forth. How close, sometimes I feel they're close, sometimes I don't. Does Spirit aware of what's happening with their loved ones still on this earth?
We are aware of everything, and sometimes we have to take a step back in order for your soul to go through its journey and its growth. We cannot keep interfering with that, my dear, otherwise we would hold you back. We don't want you to go through these things, but we have to let you go through them in order to allow your period of growth. But we are there to support you through those times. Definitely we are. We're not going to desert you. Sometimes we will give you a synchronization, which is a little reminder of what you planned. We will lead you back to it, and we will help you along the way. We can put you in different places where you are meant to be, but it is all originally what you planned.
Many thanks, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Good evening, Jonathan. I'd like to ask about eating meat and the animals that pass over. How do they feel after they've gone through all the trauma on this earth?
I would say that the animals have the greater understanding. They give you unconditional love. And it wouldn't matter what you did to them, they will always forgive you. You see, they are the perfect beings. They come here to make you happy, to heal you. But of course, in the beginning, that was all man had. You had to hunt for your food. You had to survive. It was survival of the fittest, much like it is in your world, but a more modern society. And through that, you have evolved yourselves. And to the point where you do not have to hunt for your food anymore. But because it is in your makeup from many thousands of generations ago, you still eat the meat. It is inbred into your human society, isn't it? But it's what you do with the meat that causes a problem. But the animals are in total acceptance. They do get traumatized, yes, but they are always met with the light because they know it. That is all they know. Animals have fears much like humans that they have to overcome in each lifetime. But I think that you will reach a society where you will find a way to eat in a different way. You see, your farming and what have you is met with a lot of chemical matter, isn't it? But you are starting to now come to the realization that the more natural way of farming and the more humane way to take an animal's life without its suffering. I'm afraid that hunter is still within you. Although my surname is Hunter, I'm not hunting an animal. But I would say it comes from the ages, doesn't it? Right back to where you started. For thousands and thousands of generations, you still eat your meat. It is always going to go on. I would say that Jesus sat and ate meat with his friends.
Would you say that it's okay to eat meat then?
Yes, it is. It is personal preference. We're not going to send you into burning hellfires for eating meat, my dear.
I think it's processed.
It is processed that is the problem. That is affecting people's mindset and health. If you were to live on the perfectly organic way of eating, which is where it all started, then you wouldn't have half of these problems with the children having autism and such. It is just a name that they give it, isn't it? They just label everything to make it look better. But all of these things that go into your food, that is what is going on. It is all false, you see. And they put as much of it into your food as they can to preserve it and make it look good. But if you were to live naturally, everything wouldn't be so quite brightly coloured, but there would be nothing interfered with.
With GMO, GMOs?
Well, I would say that is based as chemical, isn't it? Something of a falsification that is put into food that is not natural and that our bodies cannot even begin to process.
Well, I do eat organic stuff,
That's wonderful, yes.
I always have done, and I don't eat meat at the moment. And, I do toy with the idea of eating it, but my conscience...
That is up to you, my dear.
Yeah, though my conscience...
It's all your own decision.
Gets the better of me.
But you don't want to make it a battle of yourself. Do what your body asks you to do, what it feels comfortable with. As long as you are getting your vitamins, that shouldn't matter.
Thank you very much.
Any more questions, please? Might well be.
You will have a little bit of the loved ones coming through in a moment.
Yeah.
I think that is what we want.
Hi, I'd like to ask about signs from spirits and whether you could explain a little bit more about it. Because I've got an affiliation with 1111 or the ones, so I just wondered if you could share some information about it.
Well, those are signs, you see. All of those have meanings, don't they? And I would say that 1111 is the awakening. It is leaving behind the old mindset and opening up to the awakening of your earth and yourselves. It is pretty big, I will say. This is why I have gathered you here tonight. And I will do more gathering. It is not for fame. No, it is not. It is for the word of love to be spread. The awakening to happen. Massive. So again, your rounded off year of 2020 will be an important one.
Okay, thank you.
I think the machine is asking a question. Making a very strange noise.
Hi Jonathan, I was just wondering, can spirits see the future?
Yes.
And if so, can they avert disasters, for example?
We can see the future, but it is all pre-planned, isn't it? You know, it's like a huge puzzle, your world and our world. We see everything that goes on. But it is all left to one's own decision. All of it comes together as a learning. Through the negative, we come eventually to the positive. And it will happen. You have been left to it, to bring yourselves to where you are meant to be. Do you understand?
What about natural disasters, like tsunamis and volcanic eruptions when they kill thousands of people?
They have happened for millions of years, my dear. The earth changes and evolves much like you do, you see? But it is happening on a greater scale because of what is going on with the people of the earth, what they are doing to it. It is just speeding the effect up. But it has happened. Volcanoes have erupted for many years, many thousands of years. And the earth has parted for many thousands of years and separated countries and continents. It's always going to be happening. But unfortunately, there are people on the earth that have no control over it. The earth is greater than they in size and matter, and man cannot survive that. But there is the greater understanding that the earth has to also evolve and shift. And all of the souls in heaven understand that. Man is minuscule compared to the earth. But the earth is a beautiful place, and she will grow and evolve and change. But unfortunately, man will be taken with that. There is always going to be the mass exodus, isn't there? It has happened for many, many years, and it will continue to. But you can slow it down with what you are doing. Turn it around. Stop and think about it.
Did Atlantis really exist?
Yes, it did, yes. Much like Pompeii existed, didn't it? But it, a volcanic eruption was to kill off the people and change the face of that place, yes, it did exist. Very much so.
Do you know where it is?
Well, I'm not going to tell you that, but it is underneath the ocean, my dear, so it's no good looking for it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any more questions, please? John, Maggie?
Hello, Jonathan. I've been researching lately about soul paths, and I've come across a concept that I'm struggling to get my head around, and I'd like to know your input. I came across the concept of there can be a soul agreement that once the lesson has been learned, that soul can then go back to the spirit world, but the physical can still be here, and another soul can come and take over that physical being.
You are talking about walk-ins, aren't you?
If they are.
Yes, that is possible. It is very, very rare that that happens, but it has happened, yes.
So I struggle with the one soul's personality. If we take over our personality, how that walking can then blend so perfectly that the physical, the families, the friends, how they would not know any difference with that physical being.
Well, they would notice changes in that person's behaviour, wouldn't they? The way they go about things, the way they talk, the way they approach. So there is a difference. It may be a subtle difference, but there is a difference. And for instance, that soul that was entering into that body would need to know what was going to happen in that person's life. They would need to know what would happen in that other soul's life to carry it on. But it is a very rare thing. It is not something that happens every day, I will tell you that.
So is that all pre-agreed?
Yes, it is, yes.
With both souls before that life?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Can I ask you a personal question? That was a spiritual one, this is more for personal. I've been thrown into a family situation, and it's sort of thrown things upside down. And I guess I kind of need a bit of guidance that I'm doing the right thing, without going into too much detail.
Yes, of course. If you feel that you are doing the right thing, my dear, eventually all of this will die down, and everyone will start to agree with each other again, don't you think?
I don't know.
But don't now, but you will.
I hope so.
It will take time. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but it will come together in the end. I think that you will find that there will be a sorry behind that.
A sorry?
Yes.
From them? For me?
From them, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Any more questions, please? We've got 10 now.
Good evening, friend. May I ask your opinion with physical mediumship, as it's changed over the centuries, and we've gone from the ectoplasmic side now where we're hearing about new energies. What's your opinion, and if you have any guidance for new physical mediums, what would it be, please?
Well, there is always going to be ectoplasmic energy. That isn't going to change. It is the approach to things as to how we come through and manipulate that ectoplasmic energy. So that has gone through many hundreds of years, of course. Even with other countries where they have mediumship of a physical nature, there is ectoplasmic energy involved. So none of that has changed. There's none of this photoplasm energy. It isn't there. It is all an energy. It is developed through the medium that has to be born with the gift. It is not learned. It is the person is born with the gift, comes into the world with that amount of energy that can be utilized and made into physical form. So we will use ectoplasmic rods from the medium's solar plexus And we will manipulate those rods and form them into ectoplasmic energy, which can move the trumpet and of course be utilized into physical form in the way of showing ourselves, you see. And the form of direct voice, we will speak through a form of ectoplasmic energy, which is being built up over the time from the sitter's energy, which we gather up from the medium's energy, which is ectoplasmic energy. And then we will bring that into the actual sitting room and utilize it and bring it into the form. Would you understand? It's changing because I would see that it is getting stronger, you see, and there are different approaches to it, but you have materialization, and that is taking much ectoplasm in order to form that materialization of the physical and to create a physical voice. Then the ectoplasmic energy is built up through the solar plexus, also into the throat energy center. Do you understand what I'm trying to talk about?
Yes, I understand that
yes,
fully.
Because I know that Elaine's father was a physical phenomena medium, and of course there is levitation as well. There are also apports which we can materialize into the room physically through the medium's body. They can come through orifices of the body, through the ears, the eyes, the nose, the mouth.
So there is no actual change, just the wording that's been changed.
It is the wording, the modernization of the concept that has been put into the form. It is not changed, it is just becoming stronger because the connection with the ethereal and the veil that is thinning, it is becoming ever stronger.
Thank you for your opinion.
The presentation of it is still the same.
Thank you again.
You are most welcome.
Hello, Jonathan. My question is about animal guides. Like, what are their purpose and what kind of role do they play? Because I know they're spirit guides, but I want to know what you have spirit animals as well. So I want to kind of understand what they're about and what their purpose is.
Well, I would say an animal guide is very much relating to who you are, you see. It perceives who you are and how you go about life. So what I would say to you is if you have a horse, you see, I loved horses, so my animal guide was actually a horse. But I would say to you, it's not about the animals that you particularly resonate with. It could be a completely different animal that you wouldn't even think about. You may have an otter as an animal guide, you see. And look at the otter. It is very sharp in movement. It has to be a little bit cunning as to get its prey. So it will hide amongst the reeds or go into the water and catch its prey. And that may be about your personality and the way you approach things. Do you understand? So, yes.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Elaine has a fox. The fox is, although it will go in for its prey, it is a very timid animal. But it is a very determined animal, and once it wants to get its prey, it will get it. And it will take it back and hide it away for nobody else to get. So it's a little timid creature, but it is very strong.
So it's as much to do with your personality traits as it is with spirituality.
It is, yes.
Yeah. I also had another question, if that was okay. My mother, she takes care of a lot of disabled animals, and unfortunately part of that is that they do pass on. So I want to know, when she does pass over, will she be surrounded by the animals she gave a lot of love to?
Very much so, my dear. We are not segregated from our animals. We are very much with them. They are a part of us, we are a part of them. They love us very much, and they will greet us when we come to the other side and run into our arms, apart from the horses, of course. I do not fancy an elephant running into my arms. Rather too large, but they would go straight through you anyway.
That's lovely to hear. Thank you, Jonathan.
Wonderful, yes. Now, we do have a gentleman here tonight talking about he has not lost this one, he is in the light. And we have a gentleman here tonight, and he took his life, and he has been standing here waiting to get somewhere round to the back there. Now, he's talking about a lady named Brenda. He has mentioned a Brenda in here. Not that she is here tonight, but circulating around a Brenda. And his name is Stephen. So sometimes these things don't always connect straight away. You go away and think about it, and you say, well, yes, I can see how that has come together now. I understand it. But he took his life, and he's talking about Brenda being on the earth that he is connected to. So if anybody understands that, you can have a think about it. But he is quite willing to just float about here.
Anyone at the back resonate with that? Yeah?
You see, I don't think that Brenda is the mother of him, but she knows about this young man, you see. And I believe that he would have taken his life by hanging. Yes, but he is very much here. Go over to her, sir. And he wants to give you a great big hug for understanding who he was and connecting with you, dear Cindy. Because we do like to get the loved ones in here while we have the chance. And we also have, I want to connect that with Becky as well. There seems to be a young Rebecca on the earth as well, connected somewhere around that. But I'm sure that if you have a little think about it, you see. Yes. Now, would you know that he is resting in peace? He has been there for a little while now, and he's saying, anniversary, anniversary. Yes. So he's saying, I want to thank you for remembering me and for catching on to who I was, because I am very much here at this moment. And I'm staring at the crowd thinking, well, they want something. They're saying, bless you all. And will you tell her for me? Because I will be so happy, you know, to know that my mother has heard from me. Would you recognize Cheryl, please, my dear? Cheryl. Now, there's sitting nearby, there's a lady there, there's Cheryl who is on the earth. Yes. Would you understand there's a Cheryl on the earth, so I cannot change it, my dear, but I understand that there is a Cheryl here that you are knowing, but I want to put a Cheryl on the earth, so it may not be with you. But I want to say to you that Cheryl is there, and she's pointing to the breast, please, and talking about something going wrong with the cancerous condition. So it seems to be going around that. And I have a Cheryl still on the earth, so that's got to be said. But we will not hang on to that, just know that it is there. Now we also have Leo, please. We have a dog named Leo here.
Yes.
And he's come to sit by you. Would you understand he's on our side of life? And he's come to sit by you, my dear. And he's a slightly wavy fur. Would you understand?
Yes, I would.
And he's waving his tail like mad. He's loving you. And he's saying, I'm so happy to see my mummy.
Oh.
I want to roll on my back. Will she be able to see me so I can have my tummy tickled? Oh, look at him, bless him. Lovely Leo. He's golden in colour. Yes, he's beautiful. Yes, you know that they are with you, my dear, very much so.
Thank you.
Yes, and he said, thank you for being my lovely mummy. You gave me all the treats that I wanted. And he says he had something wrong with the lower half of his body. He's talking about his heart too, my dear.
Yeah.
And he became very weak, bless him. He was sleeping a lot. He was only really drinking a little bit of water, so you decided it was time for him to go. And he was very accepting of that. He's saying, you know, you did a good job in taking care of me. It was my time to go home again and meet with my Maker. But I'll always be with you. You know that I'm on the end of the bed, but I'm not supposed to be on it. Now we do have James here. He would have passed to the spirit world around about his 30s, you see. So James is here. He seems to be a nephew to somebody. and he is, it was devastating that he passed at such an age, and the family were in a distraught state. Of course you would be, but they had a lovely send-off for him, and I see a horse and carriage funeral thing here. So he had a very special send-off with this horse and carriage with his funeral cortege, you see. Does anybody know about James?
Any hands? Anyone can resonate with that?
It's very difficult when you've got a lot of people in the room, you see, because you have to think about it. But James, you see. And there is also Scott. Scott has arrived. So you see, Scott is also another one that had taken his life. He is lining up around the front here, and he seems to be pointing over that way. So he's saying, I am Scott. I passed to the spirit world when I was young, late teens. So if anybody knows him, please speak up or forever hold your peace. Hello?
Hello? Does anyone say anything?
I heard a yes in the corner there. Are they too shy?
Don't think it resonates.
Yes. It's just the Scott there. I believe he would have been 17 or 18 years old. Now we do have Marilyn here. Marilyn, and she would have been a mother. She would have been a mother and, of course, a grandmother. Marilyn, and she has brought a black Labrador with her. And she's milling in the middle of the crowd there, and her name is Marilyn. Now, do not come up to Elaine afterwards and tell her that you resonated with it. Tell her now, or forever hold your peace.
It does sound like a cool.
Yes. And we do have Auntie Wendy from Spirit as well. Auntie Wendy is coming through. And she is saying that she's talking about a Karen on the earth, Wendy and Karen. And she is saying that she passed after a long illness. She passed to the spirit world, and I would have believed that she would have been in her 50s. You see, she's coming through tonight, and she's trying to get to somebody around that side of the room. But they do go all over the place, I will say. But if you can understand it, please come forward and mention it. Don't leave it in the lurch.
Yeah?
Yeah, I used to know Wendy, and the daughter's Karen.
Yes, that's right.
She lost touch. Yes, I don't know.
I see. Yes.
Wendy.
So you understand that she is on our side of life?
Wendy is, yes.
Yes, and you understand that Karen is still on the earth?
Yes.
Yes, but she's wanting to say hello to her beautiful daughter, and she is saying, I'm glad that you have spoken up, because we come here especially, and sometimes we don't get a mention. We get as disappointed sometimes, but not in a negative way. We just want to be so excited to connect with you. And I would like to give my daughter her love, the love from me. We do miss you here on the earth. And they are talking about the jelly and the nails with the jelly. And they are mentioning that to you, my dear. It would have been quite a time ago somebody used to say that the jelly was good for the nails. There are plenty of people over there, you see, and with all of you sitting together, the energies will become intermingled, and sometimes somebody sitting next to you is sort of coming in on that. Do you understand? Yes. Now, we have this Mikey here, but we also have another Mike that is coming in, and he would have been a father, please. Quite a burly gentleman, quite tall, quite well built. And his name was Michael, but everybody called him Mike. And I would say that he's coming in here with a sort of a striped shirt on and casual trousers here, with the shirt undone, is typical of him. And I would say that he also has a pet dog with him. So this is Michael, and he is saying that he has the German Shepherd with him. And he's saying, my Sarah, my Sarah. So does anybody understand this, please? Michael has a daughter on the earth named Sarah, and he is a father. Quietness. Some of them are afraid to speak up, and then they come to Elaine afterwards saying so. You see, it does happen, but it is easier if you speak up about it, you see.
I can understand.
Yes.
I can understand.
Wonderful. Wonderful, my dear.
I'm in the corner. Sorry?
I think it might be my grandma.
Your grand? Yeah?
Yes. You see, he has been a father and a grandfather in life, but he's, would you understand the pet dog with him that is brought the German Shepherd?
I think they did have a dog, but I'm not sure what it is.
Yes. So it's thinking back to it, isn't it, you know? But he is very much there with you, and he says that you are going through a little bit of a difficult time at the moment, but it will come to an end, and he says that thing you were going to study, well, I'm proud of you. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
He says, do what you feel is best for you, because we know that you will have a good result at the end of it. And somebody hurt their knee and they had to have a support on it. Yes, and she didn't like the support, did she? She used to keep taking it off, and you would say, well, where is it? I don't want to wear it. But it still seems to be aggravating a little bit, every now and again. But they are sending their love to you, my dear. He is sending his love to you. I also see there is a little boy here on a tricycle, and his mother is in this room. You see, he's a little boy, and I want to give him the name of Robin. You see, he would have passed in the 1970s, but he is here showing himself as the little boy, and I do believe that he was run over. Robin, little Robin, around about 1976 he passed to the spirit world. Would you understand this? Anyone, please? Young Robin. He was around about 3 years old. And he was riding the tricycle out into the road, and he was taken to the spirit world. So if anyone can connect with this, please speak up about little Robin, because he's going mad on his little tricycle. He doesn't use the pedals, he uses his feet. Bless his little heart. Yes. Now we also have... Now, would anyone recognize the name of Pedro, please? Pedro. Because I would say that it is a spirit guide to somebody in here. He is a spirit guide, Pedro. And he is saying, well, they know that I am there, but they just haven't got, you know, the belief in themselves and the trust. And they sit in a circle of 4 people. And they have known that there has been a male presence there. Well, I am Pedro, her guide. And he's going to a lady named Alison, who sits in circle with a few other people. Would you understand, please? They don't say a lot, do they? No. Now, also, we have Mark here. Does anybody understand about Mark? He's around about 6 feet tall. He would have had sort of a very short cut hair, high cheekbones here, sort of hazel-coloured eyes, I would say, and he's got a pair of jeans on, and he's also holding a motorbike helmet underneath his arm, and he has the strings with the leather jacket here. And he is saying, of course, that he passed in the motorcycle accident, as many of them do. But his name is Mark.
Yeah, I can take that.
Yes?
Yeah.
And he's there and he's saying he was so down to earth. He was a lovely man to everybody, you see. And he loved life and he loved his bike, left it parked outside and would bring the helmet in underneath his arm. But he had a very bad injury.
Yes.
An unsurvivable one, unfortunately. Yes. You know, his body was severely damaged and there was nothing that anyone could do about it.
That's true, yeah.
But he wants you to know that he is there for you and he knows that you know that he is around. Every so often he will come into your mind and the memory of him will come there. But he is very much with you.
I've had a message off him before, so...
Oh yes, he's determined to get in, you see. And he says, hallelujah, I've got in. I don't know what happens to all of the others, but you know, they need to get in there.
Yeah.
And he was very much the jokey gentleman, you know, and he's talking about the pranks.
Yeah.
And he's saying, you know, I can pull them spiritually now. And he says quite often, you know, there is one photograph that you have of me somewhere. I don't know if you still have it. But it seems to be in an album. I think his mother may have it or someone has got it. Yes. And would you recognize Ray, please, on the other side? Ray.
Ray, yes.
And he is with you. He's come to give you healing on your shoulders. And he says that your right shoulder is playing up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, and he says, you know, do you pick up a lot of heavy things? Do you pick up things during the day or bend down to pick them up?
Yeah.
He says you've got an old injury there and you need to get it healed, you see. You need to have some physiotherapy on it and it will help to loosen. There's a muscle in there that's a little bit sore and inflamed.
All the time, yeah.
Yes, and it drives you mad.
Yeah.
It drives you mad because you lean on your arm and then it causes it to become tight and there's a little bit of a niggling vein there.
Yeah.
So get it looked to. Don't suffer in silence, I would say.
Okay.
And we also have Leslie here, a woman named Leslie from Spirit Side.
Right.
And she is connecting with you. Would you understand that?
Okay.
And she is saying, look, it's going to be all right, and talking about somebody converting a garage. Converting something.
Okay.
You see? And there's a lot of mess in that garage, so there's a lot to be done. Now, we also have Megan. Megan.
Yeah.
You know Megan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Love to Megan.
Yeah.
And Laura, please.
Yeah, I'm Laura, yeah.
Love to Laura. Are they sisters?
Friends.
Oh, I see. They act like sisters.
Yeah.
But very close to each other. Megan and Laura. Love to Megan and Laura. And also, would you recognize... yes, thank you. Francis here. Francis. I think I'm going away from you now, so but please do, you know, you've acknowledged him and he's very thankful for that. And they all are. Now I want to say, I want to say monkey nuts. Now somebody eats them all of the time. You see there's all these shells everywhere of monkey nuts. Now this person on the other side would eat monkey nuts all the time. There's a gentleman here with a bag of monkey nuts. You see? And he said, well, you know, I had a torrid affair with monkey nuts. And he is saying, it's the name of Ida around that as well, Ida. Or is it Ada? Ada, yes. We have an Ada in here. Now she is an elderly lady, she's going over there, and she's saying, the lady that I think the world of did care work, she did nursing, and she used to come into my room and talk to me. And her name was Ada. Does anybody understand this? Now this would be a lady that it would have to go to because it was a lady carer. Speak up or forever hold your peace is my motto.
I understand.
Yeah.
You see, she would go slowly.
Sorry?
And there's also a gentleman here that eats monkey nuts and trash everywhere.
Yes.
The lady that would care, and she still does, is on the earth plane. Her name is Ida.
Yes. I understand, my dear. But he leaves his rubbish everywhere, and you're going to have to be a little bit forthright, whoever is managing that. And it is really annoying you.
Yes.
But you keep it quiet, so your throat energy center, you keep coughing.
I do.
And the cough is very annoying, and you thought, is there something wrong with me? But it is simply because your throat energy center is blocked, because you won't speak out to this person because you are frightened of getting into an argument with them.
Yes.
But something needs to be done, and I believe that quiet assertiveness always makes a difference, doesn't it?
Yes.
You do it in a subtle way. You put them in his bed or something, do you? Put them under the sheet when he gets into that bed. It won't be very comfortable. He will learn his lesson. Jonathan's doing the pranks now. Oh yes, but they want to send their love to you, and they say, be a little more forthright sometimes. It's not about arguing. It's about getting your point across and making them listen. Sometimes you have to go to extremes, and then finally they will listen. Now we also want to mention, yes, Vicky, which would be Victoria. Vicky. Now, I would say that this person is on the earth, and she had a baby, but it was a miscarried baby, and she wanted a little boy, but unfortunately this baby wasn't to be born, and it would have been a boy. So this is Vicky, Victoria. And it is a friend of a friend. She is a friend of a friend. Yes. And she will have another baby, I should think. Would you understand? Would she want another one?
Probably she will, yes.
She will do. And that little boy will come back again. He will have another try, and this time he will succeed. Within the year. And I'm usually right about these things. Yes. We have Robert here. Robert, a gentleman in his, again, in his 20s, late 20s, early 30s. Robert. Would anybody understand this son, Robert? They used to call him Robbie. And he was laid to rest. They went to visit him in a chapel of rest, I do believe, after having had a car accident. This Robbie is there. And he was a passenger in the car, by the way. The driver survived it, but he didn't. Does anybody resonate with us? Robert. And I know that Sir Chris down there is getting many messages coming into his mind. They're pouring in. You will be busy. He keeps picking things up in here, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you've been bombarded with things. I'm sure that you will do what you have to do in the end. Now, I want to say, sir, that your work is going to move on, and you're going to go across the waters, you're going to go over the other side, there is America's side, and you're going to be interviewed on a radio out there, of course. There's going to be an interview on the computer, but then there will be an invitation to join on the other side of where America is. And I do see the place of Florida coming up around you as well, yes. But no, I'm not a fortune teller, but I can see what is going on, and I see that you have promise there, and you will become much of a popularity that you already are, but even more so. Even more.
Last week by somebody else.
Yes, you will do. You will go over to the Americas and you will give more information to them. They are becoming closer with the English. It's wonderful, isn't it? Now, I will also say Stephen around you as well.
My man's partner.
Yes. Do you get on with him?
Yeah.
Wonderful. We want to give love to him, and we need to tell him to look after his health.
Yeah.
And he is very defiant about that, because it doesn't matter how much information anybody gives him or advice, he always goes his own way anyway.
Yes.
And I want to say Polly to you. Do anyone understand Polly in here? A bird with Polly. There's a huge parrot in here. And it is saying all sorts of things, I might add. Did somebody trade it to say that? It's very much in here. Fly over to your owner. Yes, it has red in it. It has red and green and blue, all sorts of colours that it has in it. It's beautiful. And somebody would give it Brazil nuts. You see the shells of the Brazil nuts, it would give them to crack, and it would hold it in its claw and crack the Brazil nut open. It's a lovely bird. And it is a male fellow, aren't you? Yes. Oh, you've come to sit on my lap now, have you? You're meant to go to who you're meant to go to. Yes. We can see them. Now we also have... thank you, sir, yes. Yes, thank you. We have Tom over there. Now we do have Grandfather Tom. And everyone would call him Tom because he preferred that. Of course it would be Thomas, but Grandad Tom. Does anybody know this Grandad Tom, please? Would have had a little bit of balding on top, a little bit of fuzzy grey hair. Does anyone know about that?
Yes, I do.
And glasses sort of on the end of the nose.
Yes, yes.
He is showing me a moustache as well.
Yes, yes.
Yes, and sometimes you used to look at him and think, well, that needs a bit of a trim. But he didn't have a beard.
No.
Just the moustache, a little bit of a bushy moustache. But he was a lovely man. A lovely man. And he said, well, I did my best, Jonathan, on this earth. I hope that I did my best. But I just wanted to say hello to her, let her know that I'm here tonight.
Thank you.
And he's talking about an old push bike. Would you understand that around him?
Yes.
The push bike he's talking about. He said he couldn't ride it when he got older, but when he was young he had that push bike. He's also talking about Dean.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes?
That's his grandson.
Yes, he's saying hello to my Dean. I love him. He's a good lad. A good lad. He's not so little anymore.
No, no.
And he's also saying hello to Peter.
Yes, that's his son-in-law.
Yes, hello to my Peter. I love him. And he's also saying hello to Debbie. Now, would you understand Debbie, please?
I think there's a neighbour, Debbie.
Yes, that's right. He liked her. He thought she was very nice. Only in that
Oh, yes,
way.
his
But
next door neighbour.
yes, and she is still surviving. She's still living. I don't know if she's still in the same house, but
Yeah, she is.
well, would you tell her that he came through and said that she was a lovely girl and what a lovely neighbour she was to him?
It's like a, yeah.
He says that she went in to help him. So, you know, on days that he wasn't very well, she would get him a few little things into the house. But he really is appreciating you for acknowledging him, you see. And he says, thank you so much, darling, because we wanted some evidence in here tonight.
Yes.
And I said, what we come here to do, you see. You know what you want. It is not always philosophical speaking. Those of you who do not understand the trance will not understand the philosophical speaking as such. You would want evidence of your loved ones, wouldn't you? Yes. So we also want to say Stuart. You see, Stuart is here. But we do want to put Stuart upon the earth. And we want to say that there is a father going to Stuart.
No, Stuart.
Yes. And would you understand a fatherly gentleman on the other side that was connected to him?
Yes.
And would you understand that this father wants to go to his upper chest and he wants to go to his head?
I didn't know that much about it, I'm sorry.
I see. It doesn't matter, my dear, but tell Stuart that he has been through. I think that Stuart will know who he is.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And we want to know Bobby. You see, there's an older gentleman, probably in his 60s, I would say, looking at him, Bobby, you see? Did anyone understand Bobby? He was around about 65, I do believe. Doesn't matter if you cannot think about it, you see, because they do like to be acknowledged. And you're doing very well so far at acknowledging, considering that Elaine cannot see you. She doesn't know who is who in here at the moment. Yes. Now we do have, yes, thank you. We have Albert. Now, there are lots of Alberts in spirit, so I think that at least half of you would answer to that. But, yes, he is very much here, Albert, and he's also saying Lucy on the earth. Lucy, Albert connected to Lucy on the earth. And Lucy is a younger girl, you see. Does anybody know about Albert here, this granddad?
Gonna hand it over.
Albert with Lucy. Would you understand that, sir? What, madam? Yes? So it is connecting with you, and you understand that. That is good, my dear, because they are sending lots of love where the Lucy is concerned. I think that Lucy seems to have some emotional situations going on around her. Would you understand that? Yes. So I think that she has been strong in coming away from it. Yes, we do have... Now, would you understand Margaret around you, please?
Margaret?
Yes. She is in spirit. She is Maggie. I think that we are going away from you now. Sorry, John. Yes, I think that we are going away from you. Maggie. She has a daughter on this earth, and I do believe that her daughter is also Sarah. There's a connection to Sarah with Maggie. Maggie, please. And Maggie would have been in her 70s when she passed to the spirit life, and she would have been wearing these pleated patterned skirts and a white cardigan, and a pretty blouse that she had on. Do you understand this, please?
Very cute, is it? Who's Maggie? Your Nan? Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Which is Nan?
Hello. Hello, dear. I hope you're happy. I'm always with you. Take note of what your mother tells you. He's right, you know. Look after yourself. I'll keep an eye on you.
Isn't that lovely? You better behave yourself then. I think that she would have left behind a little watch, a tiny faced watch, and a ring here. It's not a very expensive watch, it's just got a little tiny... Yes. And would you understand that, yes, this white wavy hair, a little bit of salt and pepper going through that, of course. Salt and pepper grey.
Benny. Ben. Here, Ben. Here, Ben.
There is a gentleman here that has a dog named Benji with him. He is the father, and he has the dog with him that belonged to a daughter on the earth, which has now passed to the spirit world. He has the dog with him. Now this... Yes. Yes. Now would you understand Jack around that, please?
Jackie?
Yes, Jackie. Would you understand... Who was the male called Jackie?
It's female, it's the sister.
Oh, I see.
The
Yes.
dog.
Yes, I see, sir, yes. And the dog is coming to you there, licking everybody in sight. Cheeky fellow. Yes, and I want to say mince pie to you, sir.
I like mince pies.
And what you like to do is take the top off, scoop the mince out and eat it, and then eat the pastry last.
I'm not that fussy.
Open your mouth and shove it all in, yes. And somebody does that. It tastes rather nice. Put a little bit of cream inside it and then put the lid back on. My mother taught me many nice things. So what is your earthly time, sir? I do not want to make you too late.
Sorry? 10 or 4.
Wonderful. Now, with this healing it is rather difficult because we have the stage here, you see. We have the stage. So what I would want to do is, it's not really feasible to have somebody on the edge of a stage.
Yeah.
So, I was going to do the healing tonight, and I wanted to do that, but it is not possible up here, you see. So we will see what we can do in another time, yes. Now, we do have a gentleman, there are millions of Johns in spirit, but there is a John here tonight that was blind in one eye. He had a problem with one of his eyes, and he could not see out of it. An eye injury that was blind in one eye, the other eye was fine, but I do believe you wouldn't have thought he was blind to look at him, but that eye was injured or something in his life, and would have had a thick mop of wavy brunette hair in his youth, a little bit of a moustache going on there as well. Did you understand?
Anyone?
Now, Vera is interfering. She's coming in, bless her. Now, we would have Grandmother Vera here. Her name is Vera. Now, speak up again or forever hold your peace. We have Vera.
Yeah, I'll be
Yeah.
And she is saying that she was a mother, an auntie, and what have you. But she is saying, I love you, darling. And she says, there is something that you want to do to better yourself. Not in the way of looking at you, you're beautiful already, but better yourself in the way of studying something, and that there will be success at the end of it if you believe it so. Would you understand this, please? There's a daughter that is studying something.
No.
Maybe it is not going to you, but I'm not one to pick and choose with these sort of things. They just come through. And I'm working on an individual basis. We have things directly, but this way it is hard with the crowd, do you understand? And I want to say the Morris Minor car around this person. So we're going back to the 1970s. Now, yes. Can you remember that? Yes. She's talking about Vera again, and the Morris Minor.
Yeah.
Yes?
Could be a daughter.
Yes, and the daughter inside the car, you see. And she's also talking about a little dog, a little grey dog that she had, a little Yorkshire Terrier. She's talking about a small Yorkshire Terrier. She's still mentioning it. She's not going to change the subject. But see what you can think about, my dear. Don't worry about too much, but know that she is giving her love to you, and she is saying somebody is getting a little too big for their boots. Would you understand that?
Probably, yes.
And they need a little sorting out. Again, being a little sort of direct with the situation and quiet assertiveness. It does work, you know. Oh, yes, it does. So if there are any other questions that you wish to ask before I have to take my leave, I did want to do this healing, but as I say, it is not possible on this edge of the stage.
It's about 70 people your job,
yes.
all night.
Well, there would only be the minuscule few, I'm afraid, but we will see what we can do.
Any more questions? Yeah? Well,
Lydia. Lydia.
Somebody has mentioned Lydia. Aunt Lydia. Does anybody understand Aunt Lydia coming through here, please? They want you to speak up or forever hold your peace again.
Auntie Lydia. Sister to Mary. Sister to Mary.
Mary and Lydia are together. So again, you know, speak up or stay quiet what you want to do, but it is nice to have them verified, rather than come to Elaine afterwards and say, well, that was for me.
There's a church next door as well, Jonathan.
Oh, yes. Well, they're not getting in here. You have control of that. They are too old and long in the tooth to come here. Oh, yes. A lot of them are going back to the Victorian times, although there are some more modern ones there, but we are not allowing them in here tonight. Yes.
Do you want to answer the question, yeah?
Yes. Would you repeat the question to me, my dear? We went off of the subject.
Hi again, Jonathan. It's been a lovely evening speaking with you and listening to you. I've written some channelings down that I'm hoping to bring out in a book to share with everybody. And I was just wondering if I could get some advice from you as to what the next step is for me to get that information from Spirit out to share with everybody.
Well, I think that it is finding the right sort of person that you will be spiritually led to before the end of the year, my dear. And this is publishing the book, isn't it?
Yes.
And getting it out there. So that is definitely going to happen. You will meet a lady that will help you to publish this book. She is a dark-haired lady. I do believe she puts a little bit of colour to make it dark, but I believe that she would be in her late 50s, early 60s. And that she is going to help you to publish that book. And she's very interested in that sort of thing. So it will go into the public eye. It is just that you need... I think that there are a few small discretions that you are going to alter in it, but don't alter it, my dear. It's as it is. With Spirit, it comes as it is. It doesn't need any alterations. People will begin to understand it. But it will be out there, and you will meet this lady before the end of the year. And I do want to put the name of Maria with that.
Maria?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you ever so much.
You are most welcome, my dear. It is all being looked to.
Thank you.
What I say to people will come true, you know. There may be small discrepancies within that sometimes, but it will come true. I am very direct with everything.
Yes. Thank you. That's wonderful. That's very encouraging, and thanks very much.
You are most welcome. I wish you luck. I'm going to take my leave now. I hope that you have enjoyed the evening, unless you do want any more out of me.
Just a couple more questions, I think, Jonathan.
I'm quite happy to do that.
Sure, yeah.
I'm just worried about them all getting tired.
Hi Jonathan, it's me again. I just want to ask, normally I can sense spirit around me and I can normally comes to me quite naturally, but since my dog passed, and she was with me for a very long time, I haven't sensed her around me and I kind of want to know why.
Maybe she is enjoying herself so much on the other side, seeing all the loved ones and all the other animals. But when you go to the spirit side, there is no such thing as time.
Yeah.
You are living by your linear time. We have eternity. And I have known souls come through to people as much as 30 years later. They have tried to make their presence known, but maybe they have not managed it, or the person is grieving still heavily for that person many years later. They find it hard to accept. But because time has no meaning to us, several years could pass by before that spirit would come back and make any connection, but you understand. But a lot of the majority will make that connection months after they've passed, or even hours after they've passed. It isn't much of a difference. But the dog is very much with you.
Do you have the ability to let me know that her individually that she is okay?
Yes, she is very fine. She's very happy.
Okay, thank you.
Her tail is spinning around in circles here. She's running around in circles. She's so happy, my dear.
Thank you.
She said that she loves you and you did what you could for her. And she was so happy to be released. So happy to be released. To go home again, but she will always be with you. And I don't know if you've sensed a door going ajar a little bit, but she pokes her nose through it, just to let you know that she is around. If the door sort of opens itself a little bit, it slightly jars, and it's as if there is a draft. The dog is there.
Hi, Jonathan. There's a special lady I always think about. It's my children's nan. I just want to know if she's still around us, and basically is she okay, and that she's just proud of us. I just want to know if she's still watching us.
She is trying to speak through a lady, but it is a little bit difficult for her. She said she is very much in this room, present here now. And she said, I've still got my scarf on. Would you understand that? You've got a lot of creaky doors.
Yes, I do, yes.
Yes, and she said she was sent to heaven with that, and she was sent to heaven in her favourite clothes, you see. What I see is something of a navy colour that she's got on here, and something of a white blouse that she's got on here. And she said, I was a modern Cwmbran. I didn't like to look like an old lady. I liked to look like a super modern nan. Would you understand?
Sure, she used to say that, yeah.
She said, I'm Cwmbran. I'm Cwmbran, and I'm going to be around whenever I can.
Yes, yeah.
I love you. I'm with a lady named Betty. She's so happy to be with you. She's stroking your hair right now. And she's saying, you know, happy birthday to the little one. Happy birthday to the little one. I will be there at the little party. I will be that like I promised to be at all your occasions.
Yeah.
Leave a space for me, darling, and I will be there. And I know that you kiss my photograph. I know that you have me on your telephone. And you show everybody too. You show me to everybody, don't you? Super Nan strikes again.
My daughter always has the photo of her in the room, and we always kiss him. We always say hello, and she has a special teddy bear that Charlotte has as well, that she just kisses every night.
Oh yes. Can I say Oliver to you? Oliver. Baby Oliver is coming to the earth. Yes. We're going to hear the news of that. Baby Oliver. There is another member of the family that wants a baby, I understand.
Yeah, I'll say like that. Yeah.
Stitch her up with John.
She's getting the nursery rhyme book out. And she says, do you remember our games, snakes and ladders, the things that we used to play?
Yeah, lots, especially with the kids.
She's getting all the games out of the cupboard. And she's saying it never had the complete parts to it, but we still played with it.
Yeah, all the time. She did everything with the kids.
Oh, yes. And do you remember her butterfly cakes?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
Yes, you used to take the little wings off and eat them first, and then you used to lick all the cream out and then eat the cake.
I can't remember till now, but I remember, yeah.
Oh, yes. She will always love you, much like all of your loved ones will.
I know my daughter Charlotte misses her so much, and she used to always mention about Nanny, and I said, I know she's around and she's watching us.
Charlotte. Yes, you call Char until you are cross with her, then it's Charlotte.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Grace, 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 Gracie.
Gracie's my daughter.
Hello, Gracie. I play with her.
she knows.
Thank you. He eats too much toast.
Yeah.
You have 5 slices of toast.
That's freaky, that is.
And he used some dental floss once and nearly got it stuck in his tooth. And you pretended to shave just the top part of your head and left the rest.
I did it last week.
It looked funny.
When she said that, wasn't she? God.
You wanted Stacey to cut it, but you wanted to do it yourself, and she said, why don't you let me do it? And you said no.
Oh my God, that's your cousin. Stacey's your cousin.
Funny haircut.
Oh my God, really? This is not stage, I promise you. Who's that Sophie?
It's Karen, little Karen and Sophie are together. Double trouble.
I know a man who cuts his cigarettes in half to save money.
That's not me.
That's someone in the crowd. I wish he'd admit to it. I know somebody that cuts his cigarettes up and uses the tobacco inside for roll-ups if he runs out of tobacco. Which one of you was doing that earlier? You've done it in the
Anyone?
past. It is better to admit. Leo, woof woof doggy. You got to go home now, Leo. He'll always be with you. Little Leo, he has wavy fur, and he's got a big fluffy tail.
Yours, eh?
Yeah.
Wow.
He says that you've got a bad leg. He said that you bruised your leg and it was sore, and it looked a bit purple.
Oh. I have got bruised.
Where?
Yes, and he said he's going to lick it better for you.
Oh, bless.
And he said, be careful, because there's a little flap of lino in the kitchen that is coming up. He said, get it mended before it goes too far. And he's talking about one ring on the cooker that never used to work. Daddy's house. Do you remember that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Cyril, 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 Cyril.
Cyril?
Cyril. Cyril is here. Uncle Cyril. You know Cyril? Uncle Cyril?
You want a bit? Yeah?
Yes, Uncle Cyril. He's a nice gentleman and he says hello to you. And he said that you've taken a bit of a battering in this life. Haven't you? But you're soon be back to normal. Happy birthday to you. Squash tomatoes and stew. You used to sing that to your children. Happy birthday to you. We have Doris here. Her name's Doris and she had a very bad leg. And it was all swollen up. And she had some sort of edema in her legs. It's a bad circulation she had, and she was Nanny Doris.
Yes, in the back, Karen, yeah.
Hello from Auntie Millie. She's talking you, and she said there was a crack in the bath. Do you know about it? And she said you've got to get it mended. You don't want it leaking into the ceiling. There's a crack in the bath. It looks. She said it looks unsightly. And it looks like it was slightly black. Have you painted it? And it looked hideous. You put white paint on it. Am I right? Can't hide anything from Karen. My daddy's here. Yes, he says he is proud of Elaine. He is proud of her. And he says, Mum's here too. We're going to help her.
Getting emotional, eh?
Your loved ones are here. Does anybody know Auntie Rose? Rosie. Her real name's Rosie. She was Nanny Rose.
Over there, yeah? You gotta speak up, please, guys.
Nanny Rose, she loves you. And she said you were thinking of getting a new hairstyle. And you chickened out at the last minute. Am I right? And she said you were going to do it short or something. And you thought you didn't want to in the end. And she said you were going to do it purple. Somebody dyed their hair purple.
Over there, in the back, yeah?
Is that a friend of yours? Each lady dyed her hair purple and it went wrong.
It went wrong?
It turned out light purple. You look like a blue rinse. Cherry baby, cherry. Somebody is singing that. They had that at their funeral. Cherry baby. Does anybody know that? Cherry. They're calling out cherry.
Anyone relate to that at the funeral? Not their funeral, but...
Cherry. The name of cherry, sherry. That's it. Sherry. Yes? I think you're all getting a bit fidgety and tired now. You have to let you go home.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, anyone. Oh, no, I thank you. She's got a cough. Too many cigarettes. You keep saying you're going to give up.
I gave up years ago.
Tell that friend of yours she needs you. Helen. Auntie Helen. She passed with cancer.
Over there somewhere?
In the yonder.
Sharon, is you, is it?
Yes, she was riddled with it. And it went into her tummy.
Not sure where it went.
Everywhere. And she is very unwell. And she wants to know at the last minute. She says, I was always a last minute person. And I wanted to send my love to you, and I've not got any bad diseases anymore.
good night, everybody, and God bless you.
God bless you, Jonathan. Thank you. You okay?
Yeah.
That was a long one, that was. Karen got out of it. Yep. We have a round of applause for Elaine.
Thanks everyone. Will you join me in a closing prayer before you go? Thank you, Father, for all you have brought to us this evening. May you continue connecting us with our loved ones from the other side who love us very much, and we love them too. They enjoy connecting with us, giving us reassurance that they'll always be with us no matter what we're going through. And we ask, as in the beginning, that you will place the utmost of healing, love, and the greatest of protection around each one of us, and may this continue with us now and for always. Thank you, Father, for uniting us all together, and we pray that all of the loved ones in this room tonight, their families, will send out healing to them all. Amen.
Amen. A round of applause for Elaine. Before you want to take pictures of her, give her 5 minutes just to come around. You okay?
Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed it, the live stream.